When you think of YouTube starter kit or a gimbal, what comes to your mind? For most of the people, it would be the DJI Osmo Mobile 6 gimbal. It has been more than 2.5 years since this device released, and it's been a favorite amongst a lot of the YouTubers, especially the ones that film outdoor. But this has seen a massive price drop this year. So let's have a look at whether this is still worth it 2.5 years down the line. When I bought this device, it cost me £125 in UK. I could not get this below that price in any other places, but this has seen a massive drop this month, mainly because of Black Friday. I'll leave a link below where you can find it, but now is the right time to buy it if you are considering buying this device. Even though it's been 2.5 years, I feel a bit like this has aged like a fine wine. In terms of build, it's quite sturdy, plasticky, but it also has rubberized feeling. It has a grip at the back, and it also comes with an extended leg like this, which you can take it down and hold it with one hand, but this leg actually does give you that sturdiness to stand it down. Stand it down on a place like that. It has a few buttons here. It has 3 buttons. So there's an M button for the mode, there's a record button, and then also there's a button to change your orientation from front to back, and then you have a joystick, and then you have a manual zoom. To get this firing, open up like that, unlock it, and then turn it, and then it's ready. There is an LED light that lights up to say it's online. It's also missing the red means it's missing the device on it, but it's ready. This device also comes with this clamp. This is the most important piece to get all of this to work. So if you ever lose this is £20 from DJI Osmo, but this helps you to clamp your phone to the gimbal. And I can see why it has become an industry standard for this gimbal, and a lot of people have sort of copied this design. A lot of its competitors have similar design. I mean, you won't probably go wrong choosing either one of them, but in terms of ergonomics in the hand, this one is definitely one of the best. Luckily, as an iPhone user, I can still use the native app, but if you're using the DJI Mimo app, you can get the benefit of the active tracking, you can get benefit of some of the inbuilt functionality that they have, right? Image stabilization. You can also take advantage of some of the story modes and photo edits and stuff like that. In order to take the best advantage out of this gimbal, you need to pair this up with the DJI Mimo app, because the only way to calibrate the gimbal is done through the app. And then also there are nice features like time-lapse, hyperlapse. DJI have their own take on TikTok and templates like story modes and stuff like that. The app also helps you to shoot panoramic. It also helps you to do like funny, funky things like, clone shots if you're into that. And most importantly, if you're on like Android, you can shoot from only 4K using this app. You have to use the app to get the most advantage out of it. I mean, it also comes with beauty features. Straight off the box, I could see all of my faces were changing because some of the beauty filters were turned on. I turned them all off. But most of the features that are available in the app, I've stopped using them after a while. I think probably after 2 days, 3 days, I've stopped using them. And I've just resorted to probably holding it in my hand and filming it as how I wanted to film it, or it would just stand in a corner and just actively track me. I'm kind of happy that I bought this gimbal to use on my iPhone. If I did have an Android phone, it would have been a problem because I have to use the app. The one other thing I wanted to flag about the app is every time I filmed using the app, it took a while for me to send that video via AirDrop. For whatever reason, AirDrop needed to process the video before it needed to send. So, which I thought it was a bit of a downer, mainly because it just elongated the entire process. Not only I filmed for 30 minutes, but then I end up sometimes waiting 50 minutes just for the video to be processed before it could be AirDrop ready. I think this does a really good job of keeping the subject on screen. The active track is really good. The stabilization is really good. I found it really easy to take a shot that's below my hip, so I didn't have to bend down, or if I needed a reach, and I could just sort of extend the rod. But because my style of the videos aren't like vlogging videos, I never needed to use the extension rod. There are times I needed to use the extension rod, which worked fine, and I thought that was a good benefit to have, but overall it did the job it was supposed to do. To be honest, I've been really impressed in terms of how much it can move left and right, just swing around and even track the subject if they disappear. So if I disappear behind a pillar, it would still track me when I come out of it. But am I taking full advantage of its features? No, because most of my videos are shot in this room, and most of the time this is just sitting in here like that. Ever since I bought a camera, this has become redundant to the point where this feels a bit like this will just be part of my travel kit if I ever wanted to shoot something. So if you are somebody who's shooting indoors, I might say, do you really want to spend this much of money to buy something that's just probably going to ultimately be replaced by a digital camera like this? But if you're shooting outdoor, this is really fine. And where I think this excels is when you just start this is just ready to go. You see, this is just ready to go every single time. Living in London, it rains most of the time and it's windy, and I don't want to be taking my camera outside, just dropping the camera, worry about dropping them. This just attaches to the phone. The lock is quite strong. The magnetic lock within the gimbal is quite strong. So if I'm actually dropping my phone that has a case on, and I'm not dropping a digital camera. So in that instance, that's really, really good. One other thing I really love is the fact is the DJI Mimo app can sync up to the Apple Watch. So the times where I'm not looking at my screen and my phone is actually, the rear of my phone is facing me, I can look at the watch and say, okay, yeah, it's recording, and I can control the recording that way. It has given me the satisfaction that I'm actually recording the video. My biggest gripe with this gimbal is the fact that it cannot connect to two devices. Once I've connected to an iPhone, place it with another phone, I need to reset the Bluetooth and reconnect it every single time, which I think is quite bad, because there are a lot of devices that can take advantage of pairing to two different things, like the AirPods, for example. Why can't this connect to two devices? And like I mentioned previously, for whatever reason, that the video that I shoot seems to take a lot of time to process before it can be airdropped. There's also a lot of beauty filters and stuff like that seems to add to the processing, right? Like I've seen odd things like my face being moved, or I get mirrored. And the app constantly reminds you of new things that you should try and take advantage of, and it keeps directing me to the One-Shot app. I think it's a One-Shot app, to buy templates, to edit videos how I want. There's parent mode. There's just so many features that I'm not taking advantage of. It'd be unfair for me to say, oh, these features are useless, but at the same time they alter the image quality a lot. Right, and I mean a lot, right? I'll put some videos of what it's done. Also, I'm not a big fan of the clamp itself. The clamp is very good to keep the phone stable, and I know what part this plays, but the fact that I have to store this separately just worries me that I might end up losing it. What DJI could have done is they could have given us a spot here where I could just magnetically attach the clamp once I'm done with it, so I know that the clamp is always here. And the other thing is the extension rod. So for example, if I take advantage of the extension rod, this is completely fine, but there is a pivot here where you can pivot them down or up like that. You see, you can turn down or up, and I don't think they've tested this properly, because if I put my phone in here, this will fall down. So I'll show you an example. So put this back into this original position. So this is the rod, right? Now when I twist this down, so I've twisted it down for a top-down shot. You see, if I want to do a shot of, let's say, my mouse, and I want to film a top-down shot, which is one of the reasons why I bought this, because I had a look at this extension rod. I said, oh, this is perfectly fine when I'm doing unboxing. I can use the digital camera to record my talking head, and then I can have this in here, so I can have a multi-view of me unboxing or showing something. But look what it does. It falls down, and I don't know what is a way to keep it, and it falls down every single time. And speaking about stability, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. The app keeps saying that my camera is not stable, and I don't have it on a stable environment, and I keep it on a flat surface. And the amount of times I ended up calibrating this to say that it's sitting on a flat surface has made me regret this purchase quite a lot, because it's just sitting on the desk. I'm not doing anything. I'm not taking it anywhere. It hasn't been disturbed, but every now and again the calibration just needs to be done. So overall, for the type of videos I do, I don't think this device fits my needs, mainly because I'm not outdoor. I'm just sitting here as a talking head, and it's very limiting to the fact that I have to use the app and I have to wait for the video to be processed. It does add to the delay, and then the image quality is prone to a lot of the things in the app, and I end up using just the native apps to shoot. But it is really good for outdoor shooting. It's really good, you know, if you want to sort of give a different angle and feel. But what I thought it was going to help me with, it hasn't helped me with that. I thought it's going to help me to sort of shoot like panning shots and stuff like that, but I ended up just doing it with the digital camera. But I will still carry this as a kit for outdoors, but it definitely has become redundant as a primary camera. Having said that, I'm quite excited in taking this outdoors because it does give that, it does have the versatility to actually help me shoot things even on bad weathers, and I can just put it in the bag without having to sort of worry about damaging stuff or damaging my kit. This present moment, it does feel like an accessory for my phone, and I never spend that much on an accessory. The biggest accessories that I've got on my phone is probably it's probably my AirPods, and this costs as much as the AirPods. I'm also not a huge fan of the clamping system. I mean, the clamping system probably needs a rethink. Is there a way that they could come up with a clamp so you can attach multiple different devices? And I'm talking about, you know, not just a phone. Maybe is there a way to sort of, you know, put a digital camera in there? It needs a place to be stored. Overall, it gets the job done, but for £120, I don't think this is great. For the current price that is retailing at £85 in UK, I think this is a really good device. I think it's worth paying that premium because of the DJI branding, because it's a well-known name, and it is the device that anyone thinks of. As soon as when you think of a gimbal, or when you think of starter kits in terms of, you know, camera equipments and mics, you will think of DJI. So for that, you better pay nice than pay twice. And get this at £85. I think it's really value for money for £85. But if it's gone back up in price, I would not recommend this for my setup. For an outdoor setup, this is really good, right? If you enjoyed that, give me a like and let me know if you like this type of videos. Let me know. If not, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.